Hello there, all you happy people. Happy New Year. It's GamerDan, and we're here looking back. We're going to do a bit of retrospective of a number of the games that I played this year, and I want to have a think about what did I learn? What did I learn from the games that I played this past year? I want to thank King K, the YouTube channel King K. His work has been excellent. He does retrospectives on a lot of games I enjoy. I particularly liked his work on Pokemon, but he did a retrospective looking back at 2024, and I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. Credit where credit's due. So I'm gonna shrink me down. Whoa, I'm down to the corner here. Whoop, there I am. There I am. So I haven't done any of these before. This is a tier list. Just ignore the tabs at the top. But we got a single use tier list here. And yeah, we're going to look at these are the games I've played. I played a few retro games in between here and there, but these are the main games that I've played. Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Turtles Fractured Fate, Splintered Fate, Crisis Core, Blasphemous 2, Sea of Stars, Gestalt, Void. Oh no, there's one I'm missing. Zelda, Spider-Man 2, James Silent Bob, Mall Brawl, Muse Dash, Shadow of Mordor, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Axiom Verge, Icy, and there's one I missed. Void Wrought. I played that very recently. I'm just gonna nick this picture. Void Raw. This is how I did it. I copied a picture off online, put down, single use, choose a file, Void Raw. There we go. The gang's all here. So I'm going to go through and give a quick review of what I felt, what my overall thoughts of the game. If you would like to know more, a more specific game review, let me know. Put it in the comments. Which games do you want me to go and do a deeper dive in? That's not the point of this video. This video is looking at all the games I played this year overall, and decide, what worked, what didn't, what games did I really walk away with a smile, which games would I go back to? But look at gaming overall. Right, first one. I see. This was a fun little 2D Metroidvania-esque fighter. You play as a cyborg. It's got a bit of a cyberpunk element to it, like you're a program within a program. But good art style and progressively more complex fighting system. Quite early on, the enemies are quite tough. It's hard to fight them. They've got defenses. They've got different patterns. But once you start learning patterns, once you start leveling up and buying combos and combinations, you start building out this repertoire of attacks and techniques, and you get good. You start getting a handle on the combinations, and you're able to work around them. Blocking, dodging, parrying is essential. So I'm not going to say it's a Souls-like. No. It's definitely not a Souls-like. I mean, the two story that's fractured and fragmented and slowly blends itself out. But good art style, good gameplay. It's a solid, you know what? It's a nice medium. Is it a B or a C? It's a good game, but it never really wowed me. No, you know what? The story itself, the presentation of the story and how it spreads itself out was good. But the combat pushed it into a B. It's a low B, I think. That's a good middle of the road to start us off. Icy is a game you would enjoy if you like. What's it called? The famous Metroidvania with the bugs. Shallow Bug Metroidvania. Yeah, what's it called? Team Cherry, Bug Hunting. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight. Thank you. Yeah, if it's a Hollow Knight thing. If you like Hollow Knight, this is a good game. Hollow Knight's better, just better, but this is similar enough. But you know, this is for people who like Hollow Knight, but also like fighting games, learning the myriad of combinations, the timing, getting those footsies in and getting placement right. It's good. Axiom Verge, excellent Metroidvania, very popular. I honestly, it's a C for me. I, I thought that the overall art direction was quite good. It was simple pixel art and the idea of glitching, of the world glitching, and you having abilities and techniques, and all attributed to guns. So you kind of open up the world and unglitch everything. It works really well within the confines of its own story, but I just felt like it was just a little simple. It wasn't. It was good Metroidvania. I played it as a palette swap between bigger games. But it's certainly not a bad game. That's why I'm putting it in the C tier. It's a good game, but it really highlighted that love Metroidvania, the Metroidvania series, but I like it because the way that it pieces out its story, like a Souls-like or a good RPG. You don't get the full picture. You have to slowly peel away the layers, and you see the bigger picture as it uncovers. In that regard, it did it very well. I just felt that it was a pretty simple game, just the multiple guns. By the end of it, I didn't even use half of them. Yeah. Arkham or City and Arkham Origins. Ooh, Arkham Origins, without a doubt, the best of the Arkham series. S2, no doubt. Just straight off the bat, one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. I've played it multiple times. I played it again this year. Uh, I actually played it on Steam, on the Steam Deck, and really enjoyed it. Uh, good experience, great story, just fantastic, just a fantastic game. Trouble is that it set the bar so high, it was detrimental to future games, like the black sheep of the family. This is the one that wasn't made by the original team. The original team made three, the trilogy. They thought the story canonically follows along one after another. This is the prequel made by, I want to say, Eidos Montreal, um, and it's very good. It's a very good game, but because it's not continuing the story that was established, because it is a break away from the standard, it feels clunky, it feels awkward, but that's kind of in keeping with its story. It's an early young Batman. He's not made friends with Jim Gordon yet. Spoilers, but it introduces it's like the introduction of the Joker. I will say there is one mechanic that they introduced, the crime scene production, where you look at clues and you begin to piece out where individuals are in the space and what they did. Very good, but it feels like a bit of a Deus Ex Machina. There's too many times that it gives you hints that you're like, how would you know that? Others, yeah, you can see how you just brute force it with computer programming, but others, no, no. Still, good game, absolutely good. I'm gonna put it in the A tier because even a bad Arkham game is pretty good. Leaning on Shadow of Mordor. Ooh. Now, I'm not going to touch on the the sequel that was microtransaction to high hell. I won't talk about WB, the company, patenting the Nemesis system, which could be used by so many other games to such great effect. And the fact that they're sitting on it, we haven't seen a great game that uses this system. I'm just going to talk about setting a game in the Lord of the Rings canon. That's hard because the lore is so deep and so dense that playing an existing character or playing a character that is canonical character adjacent, as you do. It's always a big swing. It's a big swing, and sometimes it pans out. This time, I think it did. I think it worked. It was a good game. It was basically Assassin's Creed plus Batman powers in Mordor. That's it. The game does kind of outlive its welcome though, because once you've completed the main map, you just appear to a secondary map, a tiny little thing that's like half a fraction of the size, and you're like, oh yeah, do this one as well, and then the final boss. But I think looking at this, we can see that is it a B? Is it an A? It's a good game, but honestly, it was a fantastic first attempt. Great game, good game. The Nemesis system should push it into an A, but the fact that it's been locked away from the public by the company pushes it into a B. I know I shouldn't get political, but when companies screw their customers, it just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I think this was a fantastic first attempt, but it needed a few more iterations to really polish its gameplay, to work bugs out, to really get it right. And then the second game that came out was just a cash grab, which killed it, Damn shame. Damn shame. You see, fun. For those of you who are pissed with Ubisoft, need a bit of a Assassin's Creed fix. Yeah, Shadow of Mordor, not the sequel, not Shadow of War, the first one. Now, Muse Dash is a Chinese game, and it's a rhythm game. It's just a character running along, and you have to hit buttons in time to avoid or smash objects to a beat. And most of the songs are poppy, electro, dancey kind of Chinese fare. It's bright and it's colourful, and the song's got a bit of a bounce to it. There's a couple of tracks in it. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting to this. I like it. Don't know what the hell they're talking about, but I like. I do like. I'm gonna like that in B. See, no, it's a great simple game. Look, it's just a great rhythm game with a massive library. So nice. It's fun. It's a good bit of fun. Obviously, it's not nearly as good as, say, uh, uh, Final Fantasy Theatre Rhythm. That's beautiful, just stunning. All except for the last one on the Switch. It's such a disappointment. Okay, what's this? Jay Silent Bob, snooch to the motherfucking dude. Shh. Pardon my language. Jay and Silent Bob are characters with a heritage. For those of you who don't know, Jay and Silent Bob are characters created by they were created in the 90s by I'm going to put him down here for now. It's not a D. It's not a D, but Jay and Silent Bob first appeared in Clerks, and then they appeared in every film by the original creator. By Kevin Smith, who's who's the director. He kind of broke out. They were just like side characters that appeared in there for his first movie, Clerks, which he made on a shoestring budget out of the place he worked. That's guerrilla filmmaking, and it felt like Kevin Smith was like the vanguard of kind of counterculture, grimy undercoat. He was the guy. He was when I was young. It was Kevin Smith, or ride or die, man. He was the filmmaker that was saying the things that we need to hear. So he did Clerks, then he did a number of films. He did Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. He did the New Jersey Saga. Those three films. All of them had Kevin Smith in, but they all fit situated different groups, different social groups, all undergoing kind of young adult issues. And then he did, yeah, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma kind of got a big budget there. And then Jay and Silent Bob Strike Backs was the fifth. After that, they just started appearing here and there sporadically. Clerks 1 and 2. What's this? Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Ugh. Just, Jay and Silent Bob, Bob Degrassi. But Clerks, Chasing Amy, sorry, not Clerk, but Clerks 1994, Chasing Amy 1997, Mallrats 1995. That was the film that I fell in love with. Those two characters, I mean, Brody, the character there, he's a recurring character in the series, and it was all about comics and living that Mallrat life. And while I was British, man, I lived that Mallrat life. But needless to say, recurring characters with a bit of a heritage. Kevin Smith didn't pan out to be the genre-defining movie director that we'd hoped, but Kevin Smith live on, and there's a vestigial tale of my youth. Characters who are just superfluous, who don't have a place in the modern age, but at least they make me laugh. I still get a good chuckle out of it. And needless to say, this was a pretty good game. It was like NES style. It looked like a classic, old retro style game, but it had characters and the places from Clerks and Mallrats and Chasing Amy. So it had these old characters in like an old style game, and it's good. That's a C. And it was a simple game, very basic. It looked like a NES game. There wasn't much going on under the hood, but it was nice to be taken back to being a young man playing it and going back and getting a taste of something. Something that reminded me when I was young. And I think one, two, three. Three of the games so far have been nostalgia bait, replay. So point one, I guess 2004 has been a year of reflection. I think the world has changed in a significant amount, and people are struggling to deal with the changes. We've seen a lot of division, a lot of arguments, and I myself have been scared. I've been a little bit worried about the future, about what's going to happen. So more than a few of these games smack of looking back and retreating to somewhere more comfortable. And I think that needs to change. Like any person, I need to I need to come out of my shell a little bit. I need to get out and I need to try new things. I need to do more. Um, get out and try things that I'm a little bit less comfortable with. You'll notice, uh, character RPG, character action, Metroidvania, character action, rhythm, Metroidvania, nostalgia beat. Then, of course, we've got. I'm just going to pull this one in and then parcel these two together because I played one then straight the other one straight after. So Miles Morales, solid A, great game. Miles got a great coming of age story. I loved I love his relationship with his uncle. Those of you who don't know, Miles Morales was the character created by Marvel Ultimate Comics, a series that I particularly enjoy. Ultimate Spider-Man was one of my favorite incarnations. I loved that series. It also created a bunch of interpretations of characters that I really liked really well. I thought it was solid. but they canonically killed Peter Parker. He died during a massive event that killed off like half of the population of superheroes. A whole mess of people died or disappeared during this event. Big players, we lost heroes, villains, we lost Avengers. Magneto was killed. It was a big event, and they killed Spider-Man. 23 volumes of the Ultimate Spider-Man, and then man, he got a send off though. He took a bullet to save Captain America, then rushed home, and he fought the Green Goblin led Sinister Six on his front lawn, took them all out before dying from his wounds. Went out like a champ. But Ultimate Comics continued, and then he did a whole new roster of heroes. So they started bringing in fresh new faces. You don't do it in the main story canon, you do it on the offshoot. And they introduced Miles Morales, uh, black / Puerto Rican kid from Harlem, from New York, who moves to Harlem. Dad's a cop, and he has to kind of figure out who he is. And in the games, the first game introduced him, and this was his coming of age. This is him coming out as Spider-Man, and I thought the game was just follow the exact formula of Spider-Man, but don't rock the boat, man. Why reinvent the wheel? The Activision, not Activision, sorry, Ubisoft. No, not Ubisoft. Whoop, no, Spider-Man 2. Insomniac. Insomniac, thank you. I just can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, Insomniac really nailed the feeling of Spider-Man. They got the web swimming perfect. They got these skills perfect, and the fact that they even added Predator-like sections, just excuse me, just like my favorite Arkham series. Oh yes, and it works because Spider-Man's sneaking across the walls, waking people up. Oh, loved it. It was good. The fact that they introduced a classic villain as spoilers, like 20 seconds. Just if you don't want to have the game ruined, thing is so his old friend, the girl he grew up with, her family was killed. One of the family members dies because of Roxxon, the big corporation. She becomes the Tinkerer, a long-standing, famous villain adjacent character. He's the guy who makes the tech for the villains. He's not a villain himself. He just takes a cut whenever they do heists to pay off the tech. But they made her the Tinkerer and start equipping other like villains, other street thugs. And it makes sense. She's a villain because her family died, and she's after Roxxon, the big evil corporation archetype in Marvel. But I was pissed that they killed her off. She got a good ending. It was a beautiful ending, noble. But the fact that they did kill her off, I was like, oh, what? So was a waste. I wanted her to come back in the second game, leading straight in. Yo, if you put your things out your ears now, straight into Spider-Man 2. Oh, S tier, beyond shadow of a doubt, freaking amazing. The Venom story, and that's not spoilers. It appeared in the very first trailer, but having the Venom story tie into the first game, into the events of this Miles Morales. Oh, this is an ongoing story. The events of one lead to the next game. Done so well, so well. Having these two Spider-Man and being able to swap between them, having Miles' story play out and Peter's story play out. Obviously, it was primarily Peter's story, but there was enough time given at the beginning to character development, to emotional beats, to really flesh out these characters, so that later on, when it's it's fight time, it is threat time, it is an exceptionally emotionally resonant game. It worked. It worked very well, and the combat system was amazing. The new mechanic where you have flight wings to kind of wave swimming, and then flight wings glide around, and back into wave swimming. Butter smooth, works so well. Yeah, I took Miles Morales, started playing it. It was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. The moment I finished it, it was like, no, must go straight into Spider-Man 2. What I need more. Oh, worth it. Just couldn't put that game down. I did every side mission. I found everything in that game. I didn't platinum it because it required me to play through the game a second time. The only way to platinum it would be to do a new game plus, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing! I loved it. Don't want to just ruin it with another run through, but I do feel that I might give it a year, and then next Christmas break it out and go, okay, do new game plus, and play through the game a second time and make it like a Christmas thing. Like I bash out a Spider-Man game for Christmas. Okay, I'm gonna do one more and then second point for the year. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yahtzee Croshaw, previously of The Escapist Zero Punctuation, now of Fully Ramblonic, called this game he coined the term ghost train ride. He said that this game was endemic of many games that led you by the hand through a bunch of events. Like, oh, takes you along. Here's a big set piece, kill all the monsters. Oh no, it was so scary. And then move to the next one. Oh, there's a fall. This is true. This is less. It feels like you have less agency, but you are being taken to a, for lack of a better term, a thematic, a theatrical, a cinematic experience. And Guardians of the Galaxy felt like that through and through. I couldn't pick and choose where I went. I had to just play out the next beat of the story. It was just do the thing, then go to the place, and do the thing, and go to the next place, and do the thing, and then the game's over. But the titular, the kind of core game mechanic that it was built around was the ability to use your team. You commanded your team as the boss, and you could rally them together. And it, damn it, if it didn't work. It didn't work really, really well. Occasionally, I'm fighting enemies that are coming from every angle. We're taking a few hits, and like, guys, huddle up. And then you get a choice between a couple of different voice options to rally them. You could either, nah, it's neutral. One, oh, embarrass them, kind of demotivate them. Otherwise, yeah, get them pumped up. And then, bam, cuts into one of the best gaming soundtracks I've heard. Man, it is classic 80s bangers, which kind of part of the course of Guardians of the Galaxy. You can't have a Guardians of the Galaxy anything at this point without there being a decent soundtrack that is a core part of their identity at this point. Thank you, Mr. Gunn, the director Gunn, Lord Gunn at this point. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to whack this in B because while I was disappointed in the lack of agency, I did feel that the soundtrack made up for that. Solid game, solid story, less game. Combat was okay, but it would have been nice to be able to go back to previous locations. You know, I mean, I'm currently playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, the latest Ratchet and Clank game, and that's fun. Being able to go back to earlier worlds and find the extra items, get a bit more, a few more bolts to buy those extra weapons. Okay, but I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 10 games that are on the list so far have been based. Oh, look at that. 11, 12, 13 games on the list overall. They're based on existing IP, and specifically a lot of them on like superhero IP. 5 of them on superhero IP. 3 Marvel games and 2 DC games. Now, maybe it's because I have been frustrated and I have made my frustrations with the video game industry so abundantly clear throughout the year. Fans of this channel will know I have railed against some of the decisions. I do. Oh, God. Oh, this is hurts. It hurts me to say it. It hurts me. But some of the AAA games are amazing. You know, there was a reason why the term itself is supposed to be synonymous with the best of the best. You know, the biggest games. You know, because some of them are just great, right? But I don't play online multiplayer. I play single player games. All of these, all but one are a single player game. Just you run through, you play the game, it tells you story, and then you're done. Muse Dash is a rhythm game. You just play the next song. You just go back and you play the song over and over until you get the high score. But this is the kind of games I play, and I play games with a great story. And it sucks, but these big companies, they have the money to put in to tell great stories, tell great games, to make great games. And they can. It can be done. Shadow of Mordor is a bit of an old game. Still good. The Spider-Man games, great. The Batman games, great. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, I liked the story. I liked the way they presented it. The characterization was good. The presentation was fine. It's a good game. It felt like it's. I guess this is a year where I have enjoyed. I've tried to be angry with an industry that I love. You know, I love the video game industry, and part and parcel of that is the terrible behavior of the the publishers. I don't want to poo-poo it away. It's not like, oh, they do what they did. They did terrible things, but I like the game, so we'll ignore it. This isn't one of those Call of Duty protests where, oh, everyone's going to sign the petition and then play the game when it comes out. I do want there to be comprehensive change, and I do think that some good will come if they unionize, if developers unionize, because they're the ones getting shafted. They're the ones who suffer, and that's just not right. The people who create the art are being screwed, while the people who sell the art get away with it. No, no. But here I am. You know, I'm buying these games. I didn't buy all these games brand new, but Spider-Man 2, yeah, I did. Brand new. PS5. And Zelda. That's going to be a B. Now, if you're interested, I have a full run through of the game. Um, almost 30 videos. I got cheated on in one day when I was doing the video. So I think video 12 is my breakup special. I get stupid drunk while I'm playing it and I go off on a whole tangent. Um, but yeah, that Zelda is an example of a big company trying something a little different, but it doesn't break free of its constraints. It's still well within the garden. It's still a very atypical, very standard Zelda game. Yeah, there's a cool new mechanic, but it still plays like a Zelda game. It's still designed like a Zelda game. It still feels exactly like a Zelda game. And it's a damn shame. Yeah, this is a good game. Good, not great overall. But I thought it was a very tentative, small step in the right direction. Give Zelda her own game, give her her own mechanics. That works. If Link is the sword fighter, fine. She's the priestess. Give her priestess powers. Give her a staff and magic abilities. I am down for that. But it did feel like this was a very, very typical game. Indicative of a company that didn't want to rock the boat, didn't want to take big swings. Not very few of these were big swings. They didn't shake up the formula. They might have perfected them. They might have polished or refined their genre. Batman Arkham City is a perfect example of just peak. A small, contained environmental work. Spider-Man 2, excellent example of gaming traversal within a small, contained environment. Shadow Mordor, stealthy abilities. Predator missions. Big set pieces, being bombastic, make cool set pieces within a controlled environment. 1, 2, they were just Metroidvanias, an environment that slowly expands outwards as you gain more abilities. And 1, 2, 3. I had 3 Metroidvanias as well. Let's go with the famous one. Blasphemous 2. Beautiful. Oh, absolutely an A game. Visually stunning, gameplay indicative. It was an interesting change. The first one you used sword and then you used special abilities. This one you have 3 distinct weapons and you switch between them once you've unlocked them all. But you need to unlock the weapon, and then those weapons are also your traversal abilities. You use them to get around. Clever. It's a good system. Tie the traversal abilities to the weapon, which means when you find the weapon, not only do you have a greater, range of abilities in combat, you also have a greater range of abilities in the world, and it feels organic that as you find this thing, you use this thing to get around. Makes sense. Great game, really good. Again, the story is convoluted and obscured. It's about gods and eldritch entities and whatnot. I recommend watching a video or two of YouTubers trying to explain the story. It's a good story, but it's weird. Gestalt, Steam and Tin and Cinder. What's a mm, that's a C. Good Metroidvania. It's got a very strong steampunk aesthetic, um, but it felt a little bit rushed. Visually, good. The art direction's fine. The combat system's simple, but yeah, decent. You're able to pull off special moves. You learn more. The story, oh, it's just it, half the story is one thing, and then it's supposed to be like the rug is pulled out, and oh no, it turns out the good guy was actually a bad guy. But no, the good guy was doing what they felt right. And in the end, it's this massive cluster cluck of a bunch of different characters with opposing viewpoints, but no one's the villain. They're all just they're fighting over events that occurred, in decades before, which is based on events that were caused generations before. So it is this idea of generational trauma, of generational failures. Not bad. Just every time we went to a new location, the missions were kill a bunch of these enemies, get a bunch of these items, find this thing. There it is. Okay, brilliant, done. Ugh. Yeah, I say it felt like a game that needed another 6 months. Needed a little bit more to it. Maybe a new character, maybe another section to just give these characters time to flesh out fully. Good, just not great. And Void Wrought. Yeah, that's a solid B. That's top B. I'm not going to say A because while it is so similar to Hollow Knight. Obscure story, engaging combat, and it's got a sickly, oozing, bloody, biological, like flesh wrought, eldritch feel to it, which works. It really does. It's a solid all round, middle of the road Metroidvania. Good, not great. Again, the story was so confusing. Even to this day, I've gone back and I've found like all the side bits, all the cues and the story quotes and whatnot, but I still don't understand it. Ugh, difficult. Right, Sea of Stars. Now that absolutely straight to S tier. That is a biased S tier. However, Sea of Stars is a beautiful pixel art Chrono Trigger inspired classic JRPG, and I could not be happier. The combat system is interesting. The fact that you do simple weak attacks to build up, power in order to use a joint pool of energy to pull off special moves. So you decide who's going to go first, so that you have enough energy for that character to pull off their special move at any one time. And with some of these bosses being pretty tough, I played on just the standard difficulty, and some of the hidden bosses and some of the side missions, they weren't easy. You know, they were good, but I think it's an S tier game. But that is because it scratches a very particular itch for this old gamer. Yes, please. Plus, by the same company who did The Messenger, loved that game, and they make reference to the same places and the same people. Oh, it is just like weaving bits together. If they have another game set in that same world that makes reference to the same places and the same people, ooh, I will go spare. Oh, yes, yes, please. Uh, but it's an example of games of me. Like I said, my first point this year has been games that kind of leant backwards, were comfortable, they weren't too challenging, they didn't get me too far outside of my comfort zone. Old games with characters I'm familiar with, styles and artwork that the style makes me nostalgic. And then the final two. Crisis Core is a beautiful game that ties directly into Final Fantasy VII, a game of which I have a huge reverence. That said, I'm liking it in D tier. Not because it's a bad game, it's actually a very good game. It looks great, but it is a game that was designed for the console it came out on. It was a PSP game, and it feels that way. It really does. It's a mission-based game with a random number generator in the corner, like a slot machine, battle attack mechanics. It is designed to pick up, play for a few missions, and then put it back down. It so perfectly suited that style of gameplay that when I played it on the Steam Deck, Steam Deck, yeah, Nova, wait, no, yeah, Steam Deck. And I got long periods to play it. It dragged, you know, doing doing a whole bunch of little missions. It's just such a shame, really, because if I could have played it on the PSP like it was intended, I might have pushed that game up. I might have pushed it into B, maybe even A tier, between the beautiful artwork, the great story, the soundtrack. Damn, does the soundtrack make it deserve a B? Nah, is it a B game? You know what? Oh no, yeah. I'm going to push it in debate. Okay, it's just because the soundtrack is so good. But just the repetition, the repetitive nature of the game, of it's just these little tiny, tiny little chunks that I was taking out of it each time. I wasn't able to get a good bite. Just nibble, nibble, nibbling away at the story, at the missions. Even a level up system was tied to this random number generator, meaning that occasionally I'd be playing it for ages and ages and I wasn't getting stronger. And then one mission came along, boom, 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 boom. I got 3 levels. What the schmeg? But tying into this idea of randomness, an honest to goodness roguelike. TMNT, Splintered Fate. Not a fan of the roguelike series. I don't like that style of game. I don't like the idea of playing the game over and over and over and getting nowhere, of not progressing. No Spelunky. Fun game, but no, not for me. There's no mark against it. I'm just saying it's not for me. It's not a way I like to play. As you can see, I like a game where I can play, as I play through, I'm progressing. I feel a sense of progression and a competency as I play. I get stronger and more of the stories uncovered. And you know what? This this game is a shameless rip off of Hades. But you know what? Hades it's a really good game. If you're going to rip someone else off, you might as well go from the best. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm a massive uh, sucker. I'm a massive simp for the TMNT. All right, it's my number one favorite franchise. But they did Rogue Light really, really well. Each time I did a run through, I got a good bite out of the game. I progressed. I gained a load of abilities. I got a load of resources that I could consciously and intentionally improve aspects of the game. I lent hard into certain styles, certain kind of abilities, and I made sure that they came up often. Poison, the ooze, poison every enemy. Every time I dodged, I poisoned. Every time I hit them, I poisoned. Every time I did a special attack, triple poison. And I just boosted the poison damage up. So I wasn't doing massive hits. I wasn't doing like critical damage, but I was eating away at enemies as they went through. And slowly I played it again and again and again and again and again until I saved Splinter, which is the goal. And then it was like, yo, but there are so much more you can do. And I'm like, no, no. At that point, I've saved you. I'm good. There may be some super secret ultra boss or cool ability thing at the end, but no, 4 levels of that game. I did them enough times to get my characters strong enough that I could consistently complete it over and over and over again. I completed it 4 times in a row with each of the turtles. And then it was like, oh no, you free Splinter. Yeah, that's fair. I'll end there. But it does highlight that I'm willing to try new things, ghost train rides, new abilities, older games. If there is something familiar to it, maybe it's the human condition, wanting the unknown. But a lot of these games, the newer games, the ones I had played before, I mean, aside from one, two, three, all these were games I hadn't played before. But I played them because most of these were just sequels or based on existing IPs. I mean, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11. 11 games either were based on an existing IP or were a sequel or some spin off of an existing game. So I didn't challenge myself too much this year. I just wallowed about in the comfort, but I did try different gameplay styles. I tried different mechanics. I I tried new ways to play. Kind of. kind of. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3. No. If I start here, 1, 2, 3. Yep, hit everyone. This year, 2024, has been good. Played a number of games, some fun, some so-so. I haven't played an unequivocally bad game this year, which is really reassuring, to be fair. But as I look back at the games, it hasn't been anything here aside from Sea of Stars and Spider-Man 2, and maybe TMNT Splinter Fate. They really made me go, wow, this is all of this in my face. Shut up and take my money. It was the year of treading water, I think. But it's Christmas. Santa got me a PS5. I'm gonna play some of the bigger titles. I mentioned, one, two games on it before during the Christmas break, and I am. This is the beginning of the year, and I'm bashing out something nice and simple. Then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah, big honking slice of JRPG goodness. Good way to start the year. It's going to be a fun year. 2025 is going to be a fun year. We're going to have the Switch 2, which I will buy on launch. You will see me doing an unboxing and playing the early games. I'll get it right from the get-go. As soon as I can get it, I'll have one. But it is important to recognize that I also to recognize that I need to try different games. The games that I don't like to play are 10 ones that I either know I'm not good at or have no joy for me, have no spark, no joy. Driving games, don't play them. Sports games, no thanks. Online games, eh. Maybe this year I need to take the opportunity, try some of these genres, give it a whirl. In fact, do me a solid. Can you think of a driving game with a great story, a sports game with a great story that isn't just, hey, we're going to win the championship. We won the sports ball championship. Now, I want an actual story, characters, drama, development, ups and downs. Maybe that one with a basketball in hell. Hmm. But a driving or a sports game, not a From Software game. I'm sorry, I only have one life to lead, and I've got more than enough on my plate. I don't have time to get good, which is so bittersweet because how great are the From Software games? The story, interconnected world. I mean, they're a Metroidvania writ large with crazy, intense combat. That's right up my lane. Void Roar, Gestalt, Blasphemous 2. But I like those because they're in 2D. They limit their world. The 3D is just too big, and the dying and losing all your progress. No, thank you. No, I don't have time in my life to get good, but I would like to step outside my comfort zone. 2025. That's it. That's it. That's my New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution is going to be stepping outside my comfort zone. I am a man who's very proud and takes his resolution very seriously. I've kept my resolution for over a decade. Every year, I would make a claim, and I have achieved it. I usually say something very, very specific. I will do this thing, and I do it. The last 2 years have been somewhat nebulous. It's been, hey, improve. And I have, uh, But no, this year is going to be getting outside my comfort zone, and to do that, I'm going to play three games. Three games that of genres that I'm not comfortable with. Oh God. A racing game of some kind that isn't a kart. It isn't a party game dressed up as a driving game. No, no, an actual driving game. A driving game, number one, driving game. Number two, sports game. A game where the sport is a core part of the gameplay. You need to find one with a good story and not WWE. I don't think their games have recovered just yet. The last one, oh Lord, a fighting game. I like fighting games in so much that they're fun, but getting good at them is hard. But I should play through a driving game, a sports game, and a fighting game. Really try. So, down in the comments, what do you think? What driving game, what fighting game, and what sports game that have a solid narrative? I'm in it for the story. So look at this. Look at this. One, two, three. All my three S tiers have got great character-driven narrative stories. They have adventures, quests. The characters change during the process of the story. Hell, all the ones from my top, my S and my A, even this one had characters that somewhat changed because it's a roguelite, not roguelike. But put it in the comments below. This year, last 2024 was a good year for me, but I lent on stuff I know. Need to shake things up. Need to try new flavors, try new tastes. Get out of my shell and really try. Variety is the spice of life, they say. Right, with that, thank you for joining me on this look back at 2024. It's a fun games, it's a fun games. If I could make a single recommendation, oh wow, a single recommendation? Uh, Single recommendation. If you into Metroidvanias, I would say Void Roll. That if you want a good Metroidvania, that's a good game. If you want a good character game, you're not going to go wrong. These two are just too good. If you want a good RPG, probably Sea of Stars, maybe Zelda. A game you could probably give a miss, yeah, Jay and Silent Bob or Axiom Verge. You can give those two a miss. That's a pretty good one if you've got time, but yeah, actually, I'm going to knock Axiom Verge down to D. I just, that's just not worth it. That's only in CL nostalgia, so you don't need it. And with that, thank you. Looking ahead to 2025, as I said, I'm currently playing Jackson Daxter uh, Rift Apart. I like the Jackson Daxter games. To be fair, I preferred the Freudian slip. I'm playing Ratchet and Clank, but I do prefer the Jackson Daxter series. Jackson Daxter 1, I loved with such a passion. It was a collectathon, it was great art style. Daxter's funny, Jackson's a good character. It was a great setting, and the platforming and the puzzling was amazing. 2 and 3, they introduced like the future and guns, trick shots. They'd seen how successful um, GTA 3 was, and kind of lent that way, open world with vehicles, and the series suffered for it. You know, it didn't keep the purity of its gameplay. Should have just kept it doing what they were doing. Unlike Ratchet and Clank, which did keep what they were doing, just iterated on themselves and got better and better and better. Crazy weapons, simple platforms, cute environments. Yeah, and that's why they're still around. That's why I'm playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, not Jackson Daxter. But after that, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and maybe I can be convinced to play it on to be fair, I'm gonna be putting a lot of hours in grinding, so I might do periodic. No, I won't know when there's big events coming up. Well, I do know the game story pretty well. No, because it's, you know what? I'm gonna just gonna play that game, and then I will choose a game to play for recordings. I do have a few at the back burners. I still need to finish off a few of the ones I started. The Bear and the Bird mostly. Got a few more videos, one or two more videos to finish off that. It was on the second to the last level, so I need to finish off those last two levels, then in the final boss. And then yeah, Marvel's Midnight Suns. That's a big hump of a game. I might go back to that. I mean, the card play system was good, but it just didn't grab me, and I lost interest quite quickly. So I might pick up smaller games to play. But if you put in the comments which three, driving, sports, fighting, that have a good, solid story. Need a story, all right? That's why I'm in it. I'm in it for the story. But if they've got a good story, they've got decent gameplay, yeah, I'll play those, and I will play them on recording. I pledge to you now. If you give me the game to play, I'll do it on screen. All right? What do you? Let's do this thing. Uh, with that, this is GamerDan for 2024, saying peace and have a happy new year. See you.